Hello everybody, how's everyone doing? We are back. We are here at the Raleigh Fishing Expo. This is day 2, we're at 12:43. We got our last guest for part 1 of the day before we're going to go on an intermission till 2 p.m. We're going to have an intermission around 2 p.m. and we'll be back with the North Carolina biologists from their Department of Natural Resources or Wildlife Resources, depending on how they do the acronym there. But next on, I have Dan, and he's got a really cool story, and we're going to learn together. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys talking to me.
No, you're welcome. So, I mean, how did you get started in this? Is this welding?
It is, I'll call it fringe welding. So the artwork that we have on sale is made on a laser table. So the laser cuts the steel, and then my wife and I assemble it. And so it's not technically welding, but I do weld.
That's really cool. How did you get into this?
So what got me down this path specifically with doing the laser table work, I wrecked my motorcycle. So I have this awesome 85 Ninja 900, the Top Gun bike. And of course I had a fall on it. So luckily didn't get hurt too bad, but I broke apart on the bike and I was trying to manually fabricate a piece that I needed to repair it. And it was looking terrible. I was doing it by hand on a grinder and so on. And at where I was taking welding class, we had a plasma cutting machine in the room that was just behind me, and I looked over my shoulder and I was like, the right way to make this piece is to learn how to use that machine. So I went home, that was on a Thursday night. I spent a little over 30 hours through the weekend before the next class on Tuesday night, learned how to do the CAD program and run the machine. So I came in that next Tuesday night and did a test cut, and then in the next class session on Thursday, I came in with my piece designed and ready to go. So I cut one out and I was like, hey, that's really cool, but I probably should make a couple more just in case I mess it up, because I had some more work to do on it. So I just hit the button 3 more times and ran out 3 copies. Well, one thing led to another, and my welding instructor, who I've become good friends with, was in the Army at one time, and he had always wanted a metal flag. So we started tossing around some ideas and drawing on the chalkboard, and we started designing this. And during the process, and I actually drew the frame of the flag out in different sizes and sizes on the board, and we decided that this was the sweet spot. This flag is 42 inches wide, and we put the pledge in the red stripe piece. So I went back and designed that, and this took over the course of several weeks, and we cut it and so on, and then we had a local powder coat guy that we went to, and we knew that it was going to look good. But when we got it back and we put the pieces together, we were just blown away. We were like, wow, this thing looks really good.
It looks amazing. Like, how long does it take you to make a single piece?
So when we did the prototypes, it was literally taking us about 8 hours to do a flag.
Wow.
So we did about 5 different runs for various reasons. The very first flag is hanging in the welding class in the high school, and that's in Watauga High School, where every morning they say the Pledge of Allegiance. So one neat spin-off thing of this was that when I was testing the letters, I wanted to make sure I had the design file correct and that the table would cut that resolution okay. So we did a test run on just a rectangular piece of steel, and it turned out great. All the letters cut out nice and it looked good. Spray painted it, took it to the office, and we said, hey, if every morning a student reads the Pledge of Allegiance over the PA, and the students stand in class, but they get nervous. So they'll lose their place and forget exactly how the Pledge of Allegiance goes. So now in the office at the high school is our very first cut of the pledge on a piece of steel. So they're able to keep track and so on.
That's awesome. What is this other piece that you have right here?
So this other piece ended up being the company logo, and it's another really cool story. So I'm glad you asked. I'm getting off-screen direction here. So anyway, I came into class one day, and this character had been drawn on the board, just in blue marker. I have the original photo in my phone. And there were like musical notes drawn around him as well, like he was whistling. And I looked at it and I go, that guy is the Happy Welder. And I told my instructor, I said, hey, the student that drew it was pretty cool. So I said, hey, I could probably do something with that, because we were just learning to use the table. And so I went home and I put the ovals around it and the lettering and so on. And then we cut it and presented it to the student later that year. And she was kind of blown away. So it's kind of a cool story. But then that kind of went straight into, we were starting to come up with the business for doing the flag. And I wanted to name it the Happy Welder. So this is now our, I've submitted the trademark application for this piece, is the logo for the company. And my wife takes this piece, lays it on the shirt.
That's so cool.
And sprays it with bleach. And then this is how it ends up looking. So we have t-shirts also.
How did you foresee this becoming what it is today?
Oh, no way. I was a programmer for 38 years.
Really?
Yes. Started out at IBM in Charlotte, and then after 17 years, we got sold, and then bought, and then eventually I got laid off. So I got laid off the year before COVID, and 38 years of IT. It was great work, or I had good people, good work. It was fun, but 38 years of IT is a long time. And then I had started taking welding a few years prior to that. And welding was something I had always wanted to learn. I do all kinds of things, woodworking and repair, everything, but I had never learned how to weld. And people say, why did you want to learn to weld? Which, that surprised me they even asked, but I was like, well, before I could weld, I used to have to say I can do everything but weld. So now I don't have to say that. So anyway, one thing led to another, and then learning to use the machine, and we did those runs of the flag. And everybody that saw it was like, you're just blown away. And, the first thing they would say would be something like, wow. And then the second thing was, you should sell those. So I was like, you know what? I kind of need something to bridge me to true retirement. And this is fun. So I had done some of the hard work, and never had a company, never owned a business, never worked with manufacturers, but located a manufacturer that could cut the tables. These are, the flags, these are cut on a laser table in Indian Trail outside of Charlotte by a family-owned business, and then they carry them over to another family-owned business that powder coats them, and then my wife and I pick them up and assemble them in our kitchen in Charlotte.
Wow.
So the first load we picked up, we ordered 25 flags. This flag weighs 42 pounds.
Jeez.
So it's 2 pieces of 12 gauge steel. Each color is a piece because of how the powder coat process. So 12 gauge union, 12 gauge stripes, and then 16 gauge is the back piece. And on the back I have bracketry for hanging with a standard TV wall mount, which for like a little over 20 bucks you can get at Walmart one that has plenty weight capacity for a 40-pound flag. So anyway, 40 pounds times 25, that's 1,000 pounds of steel that we were picking up. So I drove over there in my 20-year-old Tacoma, which is now 23 years old and sitting out in the parking lot, and with a utility trailer, and we put a pallet of unions in the back and the other 2 pallets, the red and white pieces, on the trailer, and that sat in our garage for a while as we picked off each piece and assembled them in the kitchen.
That is crazy. How much steel would you go through in, let's say, a month?
Well, we're not at any kind of volume levels right now, so we did that batch of 25, and we're working on, getting those sold. So, we're not at that level yet, but we want to be there. And then we also have this, I call it the arrow flag. Another funny story, I scratched one of the white pieces. I did it when I stacked these things all around our living room. It looked pretty cool. I actually have a photo of it. So I had like 12 flags stacked, leaned on the couches and tables and stuff. Made a very impressive picture, but in the process I scratched one of the pieces. I was like, I can't believe it. So I took the piece off and put the flag back together just so to keep it together while I was getting it repaired. And it ended up looking kind of nice itself. So we call that the aerodynamic flag. So we decided to make that a product as well.
Oh, wow. Now, is this something that you're, for people that don't know that are listening in, and myself included, generally speaking, when you're doing the designs, is it something that you design in some software and then the machine will cut it to you, or are you doing everything by hand, 100%?
This is all designed in a CAD program. There's many different CAD programs out there. I'm using the CAD program that came with the plasma machine that's at school. So The design work is difficult. I don't know if you've ever used CAD programs, but like I said, there's a lot of varieties of them. I'm using a two-dimensional CAD, which is a little easier than some of the traditional three-dimensional stuff, but two-dimensional is all I need. So a lot of time spending on design, and I spent a great deal of time on this flag. I have the holes all lined up and everything, that if I ever wanted to do a vertical configuration flag, which when you hang the flag vertically, the union is supposed to be on the left side. So they have it hung correctly over here. If you ever see it any other way, that's incorrect.
Interesting, okay.
So that works fine with a cloth flag because it's red, white, and blue on both sides, but this is a one-sided flag. But if I unstack the pieces, flip them over, and screw them back together, then it's vertical configuration. But to do that, I had to get some of the screw holes centered, and I had to do extra holes on the bracketry on back. But basically, it all just kind of comes apart, flip it around, screw it back together, and now you've got a proper vertical configuration flag.
That is so cool. Where do you see yourself in a couple of years with this?
Where do I see myself what?
Where do you see your business in a couple of years? What would you like to evolve and grow into?
We have other pieces in mind. We'd like to do some smaller flags, and we could do plain flags as well as the pledge. And then I've started, besides these other pieces, I have a custom piece that highlights, like if you did a hunting or a fishing trip where you caught a big fish. The picture I actually have is of a family friend who shot a bison out west, and he had this awesome photo. So he sent it to me, and I was like, I got to do something with this. So I took the photo, and what popped in my mind, his name's Joe, what popped in my mind was once was Buffalo Bill, now there's Bison Joe. So I made this piece with exactly that, with an 11x14 copy of the photo. And then around the perimeter of the piece has the details of the hunt, the gun that he used, the date, the location, and how long the shot was. So I would, that's something that I would like to do, is some custom work like that. I'm offering that. I will be offering that as a piece on my website. But other than that, just want to have some fun doing a few different products and, bridge to retirement.
Awesome stuff. Sir, if people would like to find your stuff, if they can't get to the Raleigh Expo right now, how can they find you?
So the best place is our website. It is thehappywelder.com. It's easy as that. Right now we do have these two flags on that website ready to buy. $5.95 for the big one, $4.90 for the full flag, $4.95 for the arrow flag without the back piece. If you were in person, you'd see this thing pops. It's powder coated. It's put together with stainless steel screws, and it's designed to hang with a TV wall mount. I think I mentioned that before. So I've actually had one of these mounted on the back of my truck, bouncing down gravel roads for the past 15 months.
Wow.
And if I washed it off, anytime I wash it off, it looks like this. It looks brand new.
Wow.
And the customer for our first flag was the welding shop in Boone. They have it hanging over their entrance door. So it's on the outside of the building in Boone. So these are made just to put outside, and they will last.
That's so cool.
I'll leave you with a little bit of trivia, or I'll put you on the spot a little bit. So if a flag touches the ground, or do you have to burn it?
So when I was a kid, that's what I was taught, is you'd have to burn it if it touches the ground. It's not supposed to.
Say again, I'm sorry.
So yeah, growing up, that's what I was taught.
Right.
I
think we all heard that.
Yeah.
Flag touches the ground, you got to burn it. That's not true. What it really boils down to is if a flag is dirty, the flag should never be presented in a way that is not befitting of the flag. So if it gets dirty, if it touches the ground and gets dirty, you should clean it. You can still display it. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, if you do decide to throw away a flag, it's gotten dirty and you can't clean it, or it's just torn up or whatever, again, the flag should never be seen in a way that's unbefitting of the flag. So you wouldn't want to see a flag laying in the trash can. So that's where the burning it comes from. You know, you should get it out of sight. You shouldn't let it be seen like that.
Wow. Okay, thank you so much for that information. I didn't know that at all. Like, I grew up just thinking this one thing where if it touched the ground, you have to burn it. But no, awesome stuff, guys. Come on, check him out. He's right next to us down here at the Raleigh Expo. We're going to be here all day. Come say hi. If not, you got his information. Go check him out. Go purchase this amazing, amazing piece of artwork. Sir, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you coming on the show. So, guys, this is what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be taking a lunch break here. It is 1 o'clock. So we will be back around 2 o'clock Eastern time to finish out day 2 at the expo. Another thing is, if you would like to, guys, come check me out on Patreon. Everything that I do is completely free. If it wasn't for my Patreon supporters, none of this would actually happen, or I wouldn't be able to do anything. We only have a couple of spots left. I believe we only have 29 Patreon spots left. I believe maybe it's 31. Check us out there. I will see you guys back here at 2 p.m. I'm going to be taking this stream down. I'm taking this stream down, and I'll be starting a new stream, so go check that out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. 2 p.m. is when we are going to be back here. I'll see you guys later.
You're listening to Fishing the